Yo, it's your boy Oakley, and today we're just gonna be doing yet another My Hero What If. So let's get into it. We're just basically gonna be doing what if Deku was Batman's son. So he would basically have, he wouldn't have a quirk because in this version Batman wouldn't have a quirk. So Deku still would not have a quirk, and he would be trained to be another Robin because the rest of them grew up. So he's pretty much been training for his whole life, and around the age of 10, Batman will basically be in a situation with a couple of villains like Joker, and it would be really bad because it was bombs in there, and basically the bombs would be set off to be set, and he would give them the codes, and he would tell them how it would go. It would go middle, down, then up. But when Batman completed the task, the building still blowed up because the codes were actual codes, but doesn't mean it's not gonna fucking blow up. So it just halted it for like 30 seconds. So Deadpool, thinking that he finished the mission and he was gonna go out and bring Joker back to a asylum or something, he would basically die because the building exploded. And this would all happen in Japan because, I don't know, it would just happen in Japan just for the sake of Deku being in Japan. So Deku would pretty much be distraught, and so would his mother. And he dead now. Batman dead. Now the whole world know who he is. Or not the whole world, but because he had to hide the suit. He says he thought he had to die as Bruce Wayne and not as his fake identity. So he pretty much has to hide the suit. And Deku basically being like, damn, that's tough. And Deku pretty much training harder and knowing that he has to train harder than everybody else because, he doesn't have a quirk. So he's already physically fit by the age of, 13. So that's like a 3-year time skip. And that's where he meets the sludge villain. So that's where I'm going to keep the sludge villain in. Just a little bit before usual. So yeah. So he meets the sludge villain a year before. That's when All Might comes in to save him because he has more hours, and he just got out from his house. So he just came to save him, and he took interest in Deku, and he decided that he wanted Deku to become his successor. Deku would agree because he knows that this is an offer that he can't just not take, because he knows that he has to train harder than anybody else because of him not having a quirk. And yet he still don't even think that he's gonna get in when he's not gonna have a quirk. So he's gonna take it, and he cleans up the beach, and he cleans up the beach in a couple of months. And he just spends the rest of the year and the 10 months to train to train with One for All, because he was already physically fit for it. So Deku pretty much being, since he already had it for a good year and 10 months, pretty much longer than Deku has it in the anime, it would pretty much he would pretty much have a good 45% down pat, because the Deku in canon has 20% because the 10 months plus like the months that he actually been at school. So yeah, it's probably been 20. But now this version of Deku would have 45%. So he would have Black Whip, which was kind of goes with his shit because the hook and shit. So now he don't have to use the hook. He can just use Black Whip. And now All Might is even more amazed that he has the quirks of other beings that had One for All. So yeah. So Deku learning all this, he would go to the UA entrance exam. No, feeling pretty good, and Deku pretty much being a god, I guess. He would pretty much walk up in there and do the written test pretty easily, and he wouldn't really mutter because he's a fucking genius, and people walk up to him and talk to him because he is Azuka Wayne in this one, because he is Batman's actual son. Like, he's Damian Wayne's brother. Like, Damian Wayne is his older brother. So Deku would basically, would be kind of famous. And since he does not know Bakugo, he just wouldn't know Bakugo because, he went to the same school as Ida, the rich boy school, so he wouldn't know Bakugo, so Bakugo doesn't really have a reason to hate him other than he's rich. So yeah. So he doesn't really care. I guess you can say he doesn't care. So Bakugo is pretty much looking at him. He's like, oh, so you think you're all that just because you went to a rich school? And he just looks at him and doesn't really say anything and just looks back at the present mic to explain the robots. And Deku would just leave first and wait for everybody else. Once they do get there, he is in his Robin costume, and that is it, bro. He looks like a whole god, bro. That costume's so fly, though. He does not have green hair. He has black hair, and yeah. So, it's kind of like that, and Deku is pretty much a god. And, they're like, dang, he already got a hero costume. And, some of the heroes even know of the other Robins. And some of the students even know of the other Robins and put the two together that he was trained to be another Robin. So Deku would basically be trained to be another Robin, and some people would understand that. Is that okay? Some people would understand. So with that being said, they would get into it, and the gate would open, and Deku would run off. Oh, fuck, bro. I want to give him the sword so bad. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna give him the sword, like Damian Wayne. He's gonna be running. Oh, no, I can't give him the sword because, yeah. I'll give him the stick. I'll give him the stick. So he pretty much has the stick on him too. And he don't even need it at this point. He's just punching these shits pure strength. Just punching them pure strength. And he just looks mad cool because he already has a hero costume, so eyes are already on him. And he's just punching these things mad strength. And, to the point where he has, like, in the first couple of minutes, he has, 25 points. In the first minute, he has, 25 points. 35 points, 37 points he would have in the first 49 seconds. And that's when, a 3-pointer would just basically smack him off the building, and he would fall and, hit another building, and he'd get back up like it didn't even fucking faze him. And he would just basically run up the leg to it when it tried to step on the ground and squash Deku. He pretty much run up the leg, and run up the whole body and use his stick, because he basically just, it's like this little bar, and then when he throws it out, it just unfolds into a whole ass bow staff, and he just smacks it, and the head comes off. And he is basically running off the arm to jump on another building as he sees the zero-pointer robot, and it knocks over a building, and Uraraka is pretty much under it, and he pretty much uses the bow staff to repel him a couple of feet up by just putting it on the building and basically shooting him up a couple of feet, and he would land on his arm and keep on going up as the robot would be swinging his arm and hanging on him. And now, it's just a bad situation for him. And Deku would just basically use one for all in his leg and kick, the robot in his chest. And he would basically fall down with the robot pretty much being attached to it so he doesn't break his neck. And once he does get to the ground, he would basically pick up the rebel from Uraraka and save her. And Uraraka would thank him, and they would exchange names, and they would get to know each other for a second, and the match would end. And it is what it is, and Deku would pretty much say bye and dip out of there using Black Whip. And Deku, since in the records it still says he's quirkless, they're like, how is he doing all that then? And he just kind of goes with it, and it says skill. And when he does get back to his house, he pretty much is chilling, and Alfred is not his butler. Alfred, can I say grandson? I guess son, I guess you can say. I don't know what the name would be. Michael? Ben? Sure, Michael or whatever. So, I don't know. I guess I'm not gonna have a butler then. Yeah. So Deku pretty much just comes home, and now he knows his mom is running the company. She ain't home, so he just comes home and he just waits the week for his UA entrance exam. And once he not his UA entrance exam, his UA envelope. And once he does get it, he opens it and he has the high score. And he goes the next day, and he's pretty much he's not late, but he pulled up in the limousine. He pulled up in the limousine. And and he just walks out and what? Bro, how did I get there? That was supposed to be there. So Deku pretty much walks out of the limousine, and it is what it is. And he walks out and he's going into the school, and people's like, damn, bro, he has a limo. And a couple more people would go up to talk to him. I'll say Monoma would be mad because he's stealing all the attention because he's rich and he's the Wayne's son. So he would pretty much goes up to him and he would say, how's your father? He says, and Deku would say, a lot better than you. And Monoma would be astonished, and a couple of people would jump on Monoma, be like, bro, calm down, it's not that serious. And Deku would go into the UA building and find Class 1A, and he would see Bakugo and Tenya Ida, he wouldn't really have a problem with them either because he doesn't really know them. So when Ida tries to come up here and when Ida, pretty much goes to talk to him, they did go to the same school, but no, they're not really friends. And Deku, Ida is kind of mad that he got all this power, but he doesn't think that he's faster than him. So he's like, well, it's good that you got a lot stronger than you were in middle school. And Robin or Deku would basically just look at him and be like, sure, and not really touch his hand, just walk off to his desk. And Uraka would go over there and pretty much thank him for saving her. And he would basically be like, yeah, no problem. And Deku, I guess, is a lot stronger and faster. So when Aizawa tells him to get outside, he's instantly gone because he's Batman. No, Commissioner Gordon be telling Batman to get on the case, and he turns around and Batman's fucking gone. That's what he just did to the whole class. And they're like, what? Nani? And Ida was like, oh, I never seen that type of speed. What is that? And he was probably thinking, I don't know what that was. It was probably a fluke. And once they do get to the ball field, Deku would get like a good 4,000 meters on it. And he would keep on continuing to get first place. Now on to the race. Ida is smirking, and he would say, no one can beat me in this race. And Deku would say, oh yeah. And he would just literally do the same thing, disappear and reappear. Basically, that's how fast he was going. And people take it when he reappeared at the end of the finish line. He had lightning kind of around him, and he had a blue lightning kind of around him. And he was like, "What?" He's like, "What?" He said, "That's how fast he was going." And Aizawa is like, Azuka Wayne, what? Is this paper wrong? And he would look at him and he would just say, well, what paper? And he says that you're quirkless. And Deku would say, yeah. And, everybody's like, what? No, this don't work that way. And Aizawa just doesn't believe it. He says, well, you need to get reinstated because, you ain't quirkless, mate. You ain't quirkless. It don't work that way. And Deku would say, it do work that way. I make it work that way. So, yeah. And Deku would pretty much walk off, I guess you can say. And, do the rest of them. And he would continuing to get first place, except on the ball throw. Uraka gets that. And that's when, when Deku disappears from all their eyes and pretty much it goes up to All Might, and they pretty much are having this small little conversation, and All Might comes up to the rest of the class to say, well, the hero versus villains test is happening right now, so yeah, everybody get to Training Center C. And pretty much they would all go to Training Center C, and they would see, the fake city, and there's like, whoa, how much did it take to build this shit, bro? This is some bullshit, man. So he would see all that, and Deku would just walk up in there with Uraka and Ida being kind of angered, and Bakugo being really angered that this rich kid just came out of nowhere and started being better than everybody. So he's a lot angered. They're both pretty angry, and Ida in anger, he kind of goes into a revenge type state. So he would go after Deku too, and Bakugo is confused in why he would do this because he was gonna go after him, and they both are going after him, pretty much rendering, or pretty much those two think that Uraraka is pretty much useless to this, and when Uraraka does just go past her because she's just floating in the air, so she pretty much just goes unnoticed by them because they don't care about her. And by the time they get to the first floor, she's already on the fifth floor, and she found the fucking the bomb, and she pretty much touches it. And as soon as they get down there, as soon as Ida starts trying to use a reciprocal burst, as soon as Bakugo tries to use the explosion, it says hero team win, and they're like, huh? And Uraka just went past them and came back downstairs and said, yeah, I just walked past you guys. And just like, Nani? And Bakugo would scream out a rematch. You cheated, you didn't do anything, you're not better than me. All types of things to Deku. And, Deku would basically say, I mean, I may not be better than you, but she is, because she just did all of it, bro. I mean, you didn't care, but she may just be better than you. And just making Bakugo even madder. And, Ida is getting more mad too because she didn't even get to show her skill. So now they both looking stupid. So, the rest of the matches will go on pretty much the same. And Todoroki will be interested in, Deku's abilities. And where Deku is walking down the hall alone, Todoroki will, when the match ends, Todoroki will go out the room and pretty much wait at the door, waiting for Deku to go. So he's pretty much standing at the door, just letting everybody else in. But when Deku appears there, or Deku comes there, he pretty much just looks at Todoroki and just is about to open the door. And, Todoroki asks him, what are your abilities? And, Deku would say, all the best ones, and, pretty much walk off. And Todoroki, not really getting a direct answer, is a little angered by this. And, he says, he would smirk and he would say, well, I'll find out soon. And Deku would just go into class and continue on for what else he was doing. All Might would pretty much ask what happened, like who was the MVP, and Momo would basically explain that they kind of both were because Deku made the plan and Uraraka finished it up, and why they should pay attention to every student or every person on the team instead of just one that seems like the most fretting. And Deku was like, yeah, it's kind of true. And Bakugo would get more angered, and Ida would just look away. And, it would be what it is. And All Might would basically tell him, when all the matches would end, would basically tell him that, like Aizawa said before, the USJ will be coming up, so will the, the sports festival. So we're gonna keep you 2 weeks off to train for the sports festival, and yeah. So pretty much Deku pretty much knows what's going on, and Deku is every time like he's about to go somewhere that is every time he's about to go somewhere that's interesting, he wants to see if it's totally like secure and safe, and he pretty much found a plot hole or some type of way to get into the USJ, and he pretty much says, well, if somebody had a portal card, anybody can get in. And somebody could get into the UA cameras and get into the system. So basically, he's pretty much in the Batcave on the supercomputer, fucking shit up, and going to the UA servers, and pretty much putting lockdowns on everything. So he pretty much is securing the USJ. Like bro, he's securing the USJ. So he pretty much has these, I guess, these drones in the air. That wasn't supposed to be there either. But, he pretty much has these drones in the air that's gonna keep everything. So, yeah, he pretty much just has them up. And basically, when somebody comes in there, they would pretty much be locked into a invisible box.